Hey guys, KHCloud here with my Honeymoon review for God of War, the brand new reboot, kind of a soft reboot really, to the famed God of War series. This is quite a good game, and you know, the introduction to this game is also kind of good. God of War games have always been known for their really good introductions. More so, story-wise and kind of getting you really involved in the grandiose nature of the game, and that is tied into the gameplay as well. But mechanics-wise, like combat mechanics, sometimes they're good, sometimes they weren't so good. God of War 2 is one of the best ever. And it's no surprise, given that this game has the same game director, that it's also one of the best introductions to a game that I can think of ever. It's in recent years, it's definitely up there with Breath of the Wild. It keeps you into action, it involves you in high stakes action really quick, right off the bat. I mean, there are two what I would consider boss battles. One is a mini boss battle, and one is an actual full-on boss battle within the first hour.
Boy.
Think I'm afraid of you! You're nothing to me!
Boy,
Nothing!
look at me! Look at me, boy! Boy, look at me.
We did it.
You are not ready.
So they definitely keep you well involved, and each boss battle introduces a new thing to that layer of combat, at least in that first hour, in those first couple of hours. They have this combat that seems really simple at first, but it's deceptive. There are many layers to that combat, and you go in thinking, oh, I'm just a guy with an axe, just throwing it, calling it back, whatever. Not really much going on here, but that's not true at all. There is a lot of skills, and there's stance switches, and a lot of other things that are involved in the combat. It's not as intense as a Bayonetta game, or any of the Platinum games, something like that. But, yeah, I would say it's more involved than Dark Souls in that sense. It's not as hard as Dark Souls. It's probably on the same level as, Bayonetta 2, from what I played at Bayonetta 2 so far. I made a little bit of Breath of the Wild, though I think Breath of the Wild is easier than this. Breath of the Wild's combat is also a lot simpler, but Breath of the Wild's bonus is in its inventiveness. More of the player's inventiveness, it's trying to get from you. The combat here involves a lot of control, which makes sense because story-wise, Kratos himself is trying to control, the inner demons that he has, the inner ghosts of Sparta in a certain way. And that kind of relationship between, gameplay and story is rarely ever seen. The last game I can think of that does that really well is probably Last of Us. So it was interesting to see it in this as well. And in addition to that, the story is not something to be forgotten like we would have seen in previous God of Wars, where the story is fine, it's good, it's interesting, but it's not remarkable. In this, or really revelationary, I should say in any way, or it doesn't really have much to tell. In this, there's definitely a story of fatherhood. There's definitely a story of how does a father keep a kid from being like him, when he has to deal with all these troubles of his own. But in addition, there's also a mystery to who is the mother involved in this relationship? Why did she do some of the things that she did? Who are these people that you encounter early on in the game? There's a lot of mystery to it There's a lot of foreshadowing. If you're familiar with Norse mythology, you will see a lot of foreshadowing. If you're not, you might be able to pick it up. You might not. It's dependent, but it doesn't hinder the story at all. Like most foreshadowing, it really doesn't become revelationary until you get towards the end. But, you know, just in general, like, the story is really good here. The gameplay is really good. In these first couple of hours, it definitely hooks you. It's not as fast as other God of War games, but don't take that to mean this isn't God of War. It is just as brutal as God of War. This is still Kratos. He still has that anger deep inside. He's still the ghost of Sparta.
Remember, accuracy over speed.
Wouldn't want to be that guy. More of them.
Unless you're really tied into that really like quick God of War kind of action, the arcadey kind of like he spins around and like hits everything within like 100-mile radius kind of attacks and stuff. Unless you're really tied to that, you should enjoy this game. I said the intro is one of the best, one of the best ever. Cory Barlog did a great job here. He is a great game designer. I don't know if he realizes that himself, but he definitely is. He's done the best with one of my favorite series and with one of everyone's favorite series. Like almost everyone who plays God of War enjoys it. I mean, especially at the time, you know, when those games came out, they were revelationary. They were something that was like, yes, this is what I want to play in a game. And once again, that is the case with this. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you like the God of War series, especially if you like Kratos as a character, I think you would really like this game. There might be some things you're like, but this doesn't quite feel like him. Be patient. Even in the first couple of hours, like you know, stuff evolves and grows more, and it reveals itself. In a certain way to say that. If you are a fan of Norse mythology, you should definitely pick this up. I mean, if you're not that much of a gamer and you're a fan of Norse mythology and you have a PS4 for some reason, I would say pick it up. Perhaps put it in the easiest mode, the just give me the story mode. But this game has one of the best, is one of the best representations of Norse mythology I've ever seen. It blows the Thor movies out of the way. It makes me wish that the Thor movies were on this level. I can't really think of many other movies that represent Norse mythology that have come out recently. Beowulf is kind of, sort of, but that's like stretching. The same with Lord of the Rings. It's kind of stretching because they take elements from Norse mythology, or they may have inspired Norse mythology in some way, but they're not really Nordic. But yeah, so this is just it's just a great game. Like, if you have a PS4, you like action games, you like story, or you like Norse mythology, you should definitely pick this one up. I don't give like grades, but if I did, it'd be like A++ or S rank in gaming terms for its intro. And yeah, guys, that's it for me. Peace.